Hey, it's Don. I haven't done one of these in a while. Figured I should. I've been pretty busy lately. I've got a bunch of stuff that I should be doing, but of course I should be doing this too. So I just went over some notes. No, I did not use Dr. Ruckman's commentary so that I could just regurgitate what I read in his commentary to give to you. This is all fresh from today. We'll get into this a little bit, and then from there, we're going to be freewheeling. And I do know the material well enough that I don't have to spend 2 hours writing down, or an hour writing down notes. We'll hit it, all right? I thought we'd do a little more of the Psalms. The Psalms, which, of course, are the root system that leads to the whole rest of the tree. The root system in the center of your Bible that you'll find will extend to the entire Bible. I think if you, Dr. Ruckman has talked about, if you only had one book, you were locked up in a prison and you were told you could only have one book to read for the rest of your life. Of course, it would be a King James Bible, but what if they said, you know what, we're going to try and be real mean to you, and we know you like the King James Bible, we know you love it, but we'll tell you what, you got to choose one book out of the entire Bible, and that's all you get is one book, and we're going to take the other 65 books and we're going to trash them. So choose your book. Do you want John? Do you want Genesis? Do you want Isaiah? What do you want? I would choose Psalms, because when you get into Psalms, you get the whole Bible. You get the whole thing in the Psalms. It'll lead to everything. But anyways, starting in Psalms 5. Psalms 5 is where we're at. Of course, it says, to the chief musician upon Nahilith, with a musical instrument, a psalm of David, a psalm. 5:1, give ear to my words, O Lord, consider my meditation. And who does that anymore? Americans especially, they're not meditating. They're not slowing down. They're not, it's just go, 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 go. And they go to church and they're told by different individuals, you need to plow through the Bible. You need to read, a minimum of 10 chapters a night or whatever it is. And because they have so little time in the day, they plow through their 10 chapters or whatever it is, and they don't put any quality time into it. And they don't meditate upon what they're reading, and hence they wind up with all kinds of funny ideas, all kinds of heresies, because they half read the verses and didn't look up the cross references, and it looked like, like they'll go through Jeremiah, for example, and they'll see where the Lord tells Jeremiah, that he knew him before he was born in the womb and all that. And they'll just sort of plow through that and they'll say, oh, well, look, the Lord knew me before I was born. He saw me in the womb. I'm just like Jeremiah here. I was called from the womb and all this other stuff. And, if you want to apply that spiritually and devotionally, all right, okay, fine. Don't apply it doctrinally. Don't apply it doctrinally, because it ain't true. Meditate. Slow down. The Bible ain't fast food, okay? There's no drive-through, unless you know of one. There's no drive-through where you're going to go through a drive-through and say, I need 5 chapters of my King James Bible. Can you get that for me? And I'd like some fries to go with that, and a soda. Yeah. There is no such thing. There's no drive-through for the Bible. You got to spend time in it. It's not fast food. Verse 2, hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God, for unto thee will I pray. And this is pretty self-explanatory. You don't pray unto the saints. You pray to God. Verse 3, my voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. And I don't want to get too... sometimes I'm seeing all kinds of things here, and I'm like, do I want to go there? Here's one thing we need to look at. I remember there was a Bible-believing King James Baptist preacher, and he didn't think heaven was up. He didn't think when it came to things when, like heaven and hell, like hell wasn't southern, heaven wasn't northern. You just went into this other dimension, and you just sort of walked into the dimension, so it really wasn't north or south per se. Well, that's a nice philosophy, and it sounds good to some overeducated idiot, but that's not actually Bible, and it's not actually true. Psalms 75. Let's go to Psalm 75. I will look up. That's the direction of God. Verses 6 and 7. For promotion cometh neither from the east, that's a direction, nor from the west, there's a real direction, nor from the south, but God is given as the direction of the north. God is judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So you have absolute directions. It's not relative. You have absolute directions, and God is up. For verse 4, for thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, although Europe and United States seems to think so. Thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. And I don't need to apply this devotionally. I'm sure anyone listening to this could apply this devotionally, and you could preach it probably better than me. But I'm not going to apply this devotionally. It says, neither shall evil dwell with thee. That is literally, and it has to do with the millennium. Notice that word dwell there. The King James wording in your King James Bible is absolutely perfect. It is word perfect. And you have to pay attention to the individual words because they mean something. That's why you need to meditate on it. You don't want sloppy Bible reading, because as you're coming through here, that one word, there's my finger, that one word dwell there is very important. And it tells you what's going on here. Look at Psalms 15. Psalms chapter 15. I'm going to read 1 through 5. Psalm of David. Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? This is a millennial tabernacle. Who shall, there's that word. See that word? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? See that holy hill there? I don't remember. It seemed like we went over that very recently. But that holy hill is Zion. That's in the millennium. That's where the Lord's temple shall be raised up above the hills. Remember that? And the topography of the planet is changed. And it says, who shall dwell, D-W-E-L-L, in thy holy hill? Who's going to get to go up there and see the Lord? Well, he'll tell you, verse 2, he that walketh uprightly works. That's works in the millennium. And worketh righteousness, works, and speaketh the truth in his heart, works. That's real. That's real works, man. That's beyond what people see. That's actually going on in your heart where no one sees. You'll have to be right in the millennium. Well, I mean, if you're a Christian right now, if you're born again, you'll go into the millennium with a perfect resurrected body. So this is not going to be a problem for you. But if you go into the millennium as a person that got saved in the tribulation, and you have the right to go into the millennium, you'll not only have to be righteous outside, you'll have to be righteous inside. And look at this, like I say, and speaketh the truth in his heart. God knoweth the heart, amen? And he'll know whether you're fudging. Verse 3, these are the people that have the right to dwell in the holy hill. Verse 3, he that backbiteth not with his tongue, works, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, works. Are you seeing faith anywhere in here? I mean, maybe faith will show up somewhere, but let's see. There's no faith in the millennium. It's just works. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And in the millennium, baby, it is all seen. It is. It is all seen. You're going to see God himself sitting on the throne of David. You'll see David, as a matter of fact. Nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, works, in whose eyes a vile person is condemned. You'll look at a vile person and you won't say, oh, they're cool. You'll condemn them. Oh, that's so judgmental. Yeah. And God says that's the right way to be. But he honoreth them that fear the Lord. You'll have to fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury. There's a thing there in the millennium where you'll have to, your money dealings will have to be just. Unlike right now where they're all crooked. Nor taketh reward against the innocent. That'll probably be a tribulation application there, but that will also go in the millennium. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. But if you don't follow these things, you will be moved, and you won't be allowed to dwell in his holy hill. You won't be able to go up there and see him. Let us go up and see the Lord. Let him talk of his ways. Let us hear of his ways. You know, you won't be allowed to if you don't follow those rules. The millennium is full of works. Now from here, look, we're going to skip ahead. From here, we're going to skip ahead. We're going to spend a little bit of time in chapter 37. I don't know how long we're going to spend here because we're already at 12 and a half minutes almost, but it's just necessary to do our cross-referencing. You look at 37:3. Let's see. Do you want to go to 37? Let me just read 37:1. Fret not thyself because of evildoers. There's your evildoers again. Neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. Here's in the tribulation. This is what's going on in the tribulation. The workers of iniquity in the tribulation, they're going to be the rich. They're going to have food. They're going to have clothing, shelter, a roof over their head, all of that. And the people who are right in the tribulation, they're not going to have anything. And he says, don't be envious against them. Verse 2, why? For they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Second Advent. Trust in the Lord and do good. Do-gooders. That's what you'll have to be as a do-gooder. So shalt thou, look at this. You want to dwell in the land? You want to go into the millennium from the tribulation? So shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed, manna in the wilderness, as well as being fed once you go into the land. But there's that workers of iniquity there that we saw back here. Verse 3. Give ear unto my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God. For unto thee will I pray. My voice thou shalt hear in the morning. O Lord, in the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. For thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall the evil dwell with thee. I guess I didn't read verse 5 yet. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Second Advent. Thou hatest all the workers of iniquity. They're called the workers of iniquity. Notice how God hates them. And we'll deal with that more specifically later on. Notice these workers of iniquity. Again, King James words are perfect. You have to cross-reference these things. They mean something. And these workers of iniquity are individuals who take the mark of the beast and worship the beast in the tribulation. Look at let's go down to 27 through 29 here in Psalms 37, 27 through 29. Depart from evil and do good. There's your do-gooders again. And dwell forevermore. Millennium. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. And that context there, the righteous. This isn't someone with Christ's righteousness. This is someone with his own righteousness in the tribulation. The righteous shall inherit the land and dwell therein forever. That's a millennial reference right there. Let's see, back to 5:4 real quick. 5:4. For thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. Those evildoers, we saw that in 37:1. The workers of iniquity are also found. Let's go to Job. Job. Let's go to Job 31. Let's go to Job 31. Cross-referencing, remember? Cross-referencing. Now, Job, the main import of Job is you're dealing with a tribulation saint going through the Great Tribulation. Going through the Great Tribulation. How many chapters do we have in Job? 42. For 42 months of the Great Tribulation. Okay? That's not the entire tribulation. That's the Great Tribulation. I'm going to 31, 1 through 3. I made a covenant with mine eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid? For what portion of God is there from above? Notice that, above again, God's above. And what inheritance, millennium, of the Almighty from on high? Again, he's on high. Is not destruction to the wicked? Tribulation. They're called wicked in the tribulation, the wicked. And strange punishment to the, here it goes again, the workers of iniquity. The workers of iniquity. And that's what you have in this book of Job, dealing with Job as a type of the major type of the tribulation saint going through the Great Tribulation. And there's that workers of iniquities, there's that wicked, which also refers to the Antichrist. Let's go back to Psalms 36. Just doing some cross-referencing there. Psalms 36. And let's look at 11 and 12, right above our chapter here in 37. Look at this for near context. Let not the foot of pride come against me, and let not the hand of the wicked. Now that could either be the Antichrist directly, or those people who take the mark of the beast in the tribulation. Let not the hand of the wicked, because they'll be hunting down the righteous, the wicked, remove me. There are the workers of iniquity fallen. They are cast down. That'll be second advent. Pardon me. And notice this, and shall not be able to rise. Why does it say that the workers of iniquity shall not be able to rise? Because there's a second rapture towards the end, somewhere between the middle of the tribulation towards probably 3/4. It's before the second advent. So it could be a month before the second advent. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. Nobody really knows. But there's a second rapture. It's a rapture of Jews that it has to do with those virgins that kept their oil, that had the oil in their lamps. They see the Lord and they're able to rise. So there are righteous individuals, righteous tribulation saints who die in the tribulation. This might be tribulation Jews and Gentiles here, but they die in the tribulation. They die as the righteous, and then they come up. They're able to come up to rise for that second rapture. And then they come back with the Lord on, or at least the Jews come back on the white asses, on donkeys at the second advent. That's a real quick explanation right there as what it's talking about, and shall not be able to rise. That has to do with the second rapture as you're getting closer to the second advent. But that's a cross-reference to those workers of iniquity. Let's see, 37:2. For they shall soon be cut down. You notice these workers of iniquity? For they shall soon be cut down like the grass. Well, you know, in the original Hebrew, they said it was a shrubbery, or that, or weeds. Look at this, the grass. Why is it so important that you have the grass there? And notice it says, and wither as the green herb. That's something that happens when heat hits the herb, or when heat hits the grass. That grass there is you have a cross-reference to another major tribulation book, another major tribulation epistle. Trying to hold the phone with one hand and the Bible in the other, and I admit I'm sweating out here. Let's read James chapter 1. Let's read 8 through 11. 8 through 11. Okay, here we go. It's talking about the tribulation. This tribulation epistle. A double-minded man. You can't be double-minded in the tribulation. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. But the rich, we just mentioned them. Those are the wicked, that you're not to be envious against, because they're rich. But the rich, in that he is made low, he will be made low. Because as the flower of the, what's that word? The grass, he shall pass away. Amen. For the Son, S-U-N, there's Malachi 4. That's Jesus Christ, second advent. For the sun is no sooner risen with a burning heat, but it withereth the what? The grass, and the flower thereof falleth, and the grace and the fashion of it perisheth. So also shall the rich man fade in his ways. Man, it's kind of hard to know where to stop here. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. That's you got to endure to get through the tribulation. Back to Psalms 37. Psalms 37. Let's read down through here. We were at, notice in Psalms 37 here, I want to show you this, in case I haven't showed you this before. Notice in verse 3, dwell in the land. There's a reference to dwelling in the land. Then you come down to verse 9. Inherit the earth. There's a second reference to the millennium. Inherit, or dwell in the land, millennial inheritance, millennial dwelling. Second time in this chapter, inherit the earth, millennium. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth. There's a third reference to the millennium. Verse 18, the Lord knoweth the days of the upright, literally upright, and their inheritance, millennium. There's your fourth reference. Verse 22, for such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth. Fifth reference to the millennium. Verse 29, the righteous, literally the righteous, shall inherit the land. Sixth reference to the millennium. Wait on the Lord and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. 7. Why are you given 7 references to the millennial land of the millennium in chapter 37, which deals with going out of the tribulation and into the millennium? That's because you have 7 times for 7 years. There's going to be 7 years up ahead for the tribulation. Not fighting with anyone, but it's not 3.5. It's not 3.25. It's not 10. It's not 10.5. It's not 15. It's not 27. It's not 6 or whatever. It's 7. It's 7. And we don't have time to get into all that, but okay, these little things are hidden in here. God gives these little nuggets to people that meditate upon the Word, spend time in it, and find these nuggets. 7 references to the millennium coming out of the tribulation in chapter 37, because there's 7 years still left up ahead that an individual will have to go through that misses the rapture and winds up in the tribulation. We read verse 2, verse 3. I better stop this and start it again. We're at 26 minutes. Huh. Okay, rolling. Okay, keep those doggies rolling. Here we go. Trust in the Lord and do good. Do-gooders. So shalt thou dwell in the land. Does it just say, get saved? No, you trust in the Lord. There's faith and do good. That's faith and works in the tribulation. In the tribulation, it's the faith of Jesus and the works of Moses. They sing the song of the Lamb and the song of Moses. It's faith and works in the tribulation. You do faith and works, so shalt thou dwell in the land. Then you can go into the millennium. And verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord. Don't just delight yourself and you seeing the rich people eating and they're sheltered and everything else, and you're living worse than, you think the homeless are doing bad today. The homeless have help, and the homeless, if anything, have protection. They're not being hunted down. But in the tribulation, boy, you better just delight yourself in the Lord, because it's going to be hard. And he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Not in the tribulation, but he will in the millennium. So you're waiting for that. You're being patient for that. You're enduring for that. Verse 5. Commit. You're going to have to be committed. You get stuck in the tribulation, man, you're going to have to be committed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, faith and works, and he shall bring it to pass. Verse 6. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord. There's a reference to not only in the tribulation, where you're going to need to trust in the Lord and rest in the Lord. That'll have to be your rest during that time of hell. But eventually you will be able to rest in the Lord when you go into the millennium. And wait patiently for him. Now, those words there are, again, those are important. The words wait patiently. Go to James, clear back to James 1:3. But we'll do it. James 1:3. Not sure how far we'll go here. James 1:3, back to our tribulation epistle. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh, what's that? Patience, tribulation. But let patience have her perfect work, that they may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If you find yourself in the tribulation because you didn't get saved here, maybe you were listening to Breaker's plan of salvation, or who knows what, or maybe you're listening to John MacArthur's 5-point tulip Calvinism, and you found out that God didn't just automatically come along and elect you against your will, and you find yourself in the tribulation, you're going to have to be perfect. There's no messing around, no fooling, no backsliding. I do not recommend backsliding at all if you find yourself in the tribulation. Ain't going to work. Thank God I'm not going there. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Second Advent, or the other wait patiently for Him is also the second rapture. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in the way, those who take 666 coming up. We saw a type of that. The Lord showed us a type of that with, and I'm not arguing with people about the vax thing, and if you heard somebody talk positively about the vax thing, I'm not talking about that, all right? I'm telling you about a type that in our recent history, you were given a type, and you were shown something. You were shown that the world is, the band is warming up. And the world is preparing for that time when the world will go along with whatever they're told to do. And they'll be taking, instead of taking a jab, they'll be taking a mark. And just like if you didn't take the jab, you weren't allowed to travel. You weren't allowed to buy and sell in many places. You weren't allowed to make money many times. You were pretty much just locked down and frozen. That's a type. The Lord gave you a type of what's coming. The 666, the mark, when that comes, you won't be able to buy or sell. That's a type. And we've gone from the mask to the mark. Write those two words down and see how close they are. Mask, mark. See how close they are. Look up, we don't have to look it up, but just think of the word, the mark of the beast, 666, is connected with a pox, P-O-X. A pox, which is kind of spelled like vax. Well, it has an X on the end. Watch out for words that end in X. So you'll have the vax, you have the vax right now, but you'll have the mark, which will be associated with a pox, P-O-X. And just by coincidence, the vax, COVID, was also associated with what? A pox. A pox. I mean, how many hints do you need to see where we're at in history? To see how close we are? The Lord is simply showing you, yoo-hoo, hey, look what's coming. Let me give you a type first. All right, the opening band has come out and played. The real band is coming out any minute. Better get ready. All right, because of him who prospereth in his way. Those take 666. Because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass, Antichrist. Cease from anger in the tribulation. You're going to have to be a pacifist in the tribulation. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. You won't be able to go around and steal your food. You won't be able to say, well, this guy's lost anyways, I'll just go take his stuff. You won't be able to do that. You're going to have to do everything legitimately. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait, 7 years, those that wait upon the Lord. Notice there was 7 references. There were 7 references in this chapter. And again, we're told to wait. Wait how long? They'll have to wait 7 years, according to this chapter. Wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. That's the millennium. That word inherit is associated with millennial inheritance. Let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews 6. Hebrews 6. Hebrews mainly is a millennium or a tribulation epistle. But of course, there's other things. You can't just hyper dispensationally cut the Bible up. There are things you can find in the book of Hebrews that will apply to us, but for the most part, the book of Hebrews has to do with the tribulation. It's all through here. Here's your, my leg's going to sleep. your tribulation salvation. For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened, once got saved, and have tasted of the heavenly gift, got saved, and were made partakers of the Holy Ghost, got saved, and have tasted of the good word and the powers of the world to come, millennium, if they shall fall away, no eternal security, to renew them again unto repentance, sorry, seeing they crucified to themselves the Son of God afresh, they did get saved, but they lost it, and put him to an open shame. For the earth which drinketh in the rain, there'll be a double portion of rain at the second advent. I'm going to stand up here. That cometh oft upon it, and bringeth forth herbs. There's your reference to herbs again. Herbs meet for them by whom it is dressed, receiveth blessing from God. But that which beareth thorns and briars, there's the tribulation people who are cursed. And you can also look up across rooms to Matthew 13, we won't go there, is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned, Matthew 13. That's second advent, Malachi 4. But beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and things that accompany salvation, though we thus speak. For God is not unrighteous to forget your work, W-O-R-K, tribulation, and labor of love. You're to care about your brethren. If the brother comes to you, James, the book of James, cross-references labor of love with James. Labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. Here's a cross-reference to James. You have 2 shirts, you have 2 coats, you're going to have to give one up for a brother. You have 2 slices of bread, whatever. You're going to have to share. It's ultimate do-gooders. And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end of the tribulation. That you be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience, faith and works, inherit. There's your word, inherit the promises. All right. See that right there? Patiently endured, tribulation. The promise, millennium. Heirs, that's an inheritance of promise, millennium. Okay, that's Hebrews. All right, main import of Hebrews, the main import, not the total import, is Hebrews in the tribulation, or anyone that gets stuck in the tribulation. But you can find some things in Hebrews that will apply doctrinally to a Christian, like, for example, where it talks about the death of the testator, that kind of thing. You better know that without the shedding of blood, all that. Let's see, where are we at? We're, let's see here. Wait patiently, fret not thyself because of him. Cease from anger, we read all that. Inherit, verse 10, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be, that's the Antichrist and those that follow him. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be, pardon me. But the meek, that's what you're going to have to be in the tribulation. Like I said, you're going to have to be a pacifist. You're going to have to be a do-gooder. The meek, that's why it says forsake anger and all that. Forsake wrath. In the tribulation, you're going to have to be meek. That's not now. But the meek shall inherit the earth, millennium, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. A reference to the millennium. It will be peace on earth, goodwill to men at that point. You have first holiness and righteousness, then peace. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. And of course, you can, again, if you want to apply what's going on today, where God is showing you, look at where we're at. Can't you teach me this? Can't you preach this to me? I know you can. Who is the wicked now, and how they're plotting against the just? I know Donald Trump isn't perfect, but as far as presidents go, and as far as politicians go, he was the just. And you have Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and Channel 8 News and Saturday Night Live and Rolling Stone magazine and the cancel culture and all that. They're the wicked. the FBI, the CIA, the crooked courts. Look what's going on. The people who merely protested on January 6th. I mean, they didn't do what the people had been doing for years on the streets, literally taking over entire city blocks, killing people, burning down parts of cities, smashing windows, stealing stuff, flipping over police cars, catching them on fire. They were allowed to do that, and the FBI, the Justice Department, all that, they don't care because they're the wicked. So they're protected. Type of the tribulation that's coming up. And the wicked now, oh, you were involved. You literally were driving past January 6th. Maybe you were just getting groceries, but they caught you on camera. They got your face on camera on January 6th. We're coming after you. We're going to destroy you. We're going to make sure you get fired. We're going to make sure you have to spend every last dime you've ever earned trying to defend yourself in court. Then we're going to try and give you as many years in prison, even though we don't have room for violent criminals. We claim we don't have any room in the prisons, so we got to just let them go. But if you were involved in the January 6th ordeal, oh, we'll find room for you, baby. We'll find room for you, and you'll be rotting in jail. Do you see that? And look, this really doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump and the January 6th. You get what I'm saying here? Do you understand the typology? You understand all this right here? How that the Lord, whether we're talking about the vax or the what's been going on in the media and every place else, the Lord is showing you that the time is short, and let a little while, yet a little while. This is what's going on. All these things that are going to be coming up in the tribulation are taking place right now as a type, as a foreshadow of what's going to happen. And right now, the wicked, they're seeking out anyone that even has the slightest stink of righteousness on them. Why do you say stink? Because the world considers that a savor unto death. And they don't like you. If you're a decent person, you're a good person, you stand up for the right things. You say, I believe a woman is a woman. I believe a man is a man. I believe that a marriage is between a man and a woman. I don't believe you should be going after kids to mess them up and to try and chop them up and turn them into something they're not. Oh, they're going to come after you. The wicked plotteth against the just. You voted for Trump? You voted for Trump? That sign is there simply as a jab to the world. It's simply as a jab to the wicked, who right now are plotting against the just. If they would just let it go, if they weren't making a big deal out of this, then I wouldn't even have that up. But it's the fact that they want to make a big deal out of it. That's why I got that false AR-15 hanging up there too. Just hey, shove it. You don't like my AR-15? It's going to hang from the ceiling of my shop. And I'm also going to have the Trump sign up there. Right now I washed my rebel flag, but my rebel flag is normally hanging over there too. Why? Just to jab at him. That's what Dr. Ruckman did. Like, hey, if the world is against it, maybe you should be for it. If the world is literally taking a leak down their leg over something stupid, maybe you ought to think twice about it. Maybe you ought to support it. Look at this. The wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth against him with the teeth. Aren't they? They're going mad. They're going nuts. And I want to mention something here. You've heard in some sermons, and I'm not going against any preacher that says this. It's just a faux pas. You'll see in the Bible where it'll says that, and they gnashed upon him. And they'll say, oh, they were biting him. They were literally biting him with their teeth. They gnashed upon him. That's not what that means. What that means is your teeth are clenched together. Have you ever seen someone when they're really mad? When they want to kill somebody? When they want to hit somebody over the head with a baseball bat? You look at them, and what are they doing with their teeth? They're gnashing with their teeth. Their teeth are hard against each other. It looks like they're smiling, but they ain't smiling. Their teeth are gnashing. That's what gnashing is. It's not actually biting the person, but it's a gnashing. It's okay. That's what's going on there. The Lord shall laugh at him. The The Lord's going to laugh at these wicked people with all their cancel culture and all their garbage and all their wickedness. Oh, we finally own the media. We finally own the schools. We're taking over the families currently. We took over all of entertainment. We took over the government, which they have. The Jesuits are behind your FBI, your CIA, your Border Patrol, everything. Why is it we've got so many Roman Catholics coming over the border and they're not being challenged or sent back? And why are all these Roman Catholics coming over our southern border and they're being given clothes and they're being given everything they want? Duh, because they're Roman Catholic. Guess who's in charge of our government currently? The Jesuits. Hello. And the Lord's going to laugh. He's going to be like, you thought you had it, didn't you? You thought you were in control. You thought you had the whole bag. Thou fool. This night thy soul should be required of thee. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow and cast down the poor and needy. That's what I was talking about. If you're a homeless person in the tribulation, because you won't take the mark of the beast, you're not only poor and needy, they got their sword and their bow bent and they're casting you down. They're chopping heads off, man. They're persecuting you. Look at that. And to slay such as be of upright conversation. And you've got a type here. The typology is already in place, folks. If you're anyone who even has the slightest upright conversation, and I'm not even talking about Jesus Christ and salvation and all the things that we talk about here. I'm talking about, like I said, a woman is a woman. A man is a man. A marriage is a man and a woman. A family is a man, a woman, and a child. Okay, things like that. That's an upright conversation that the wicked right now is going after those people and they're casting them down. They say they're being canceled. They're being canceled. But here it's to cast down. This is all typical of what's going to happen in the tribulation. It's coming. It's coming. And you're being shown right now what is taking place to show you that the opening band is out there playing. And it's not the real thing. It's not the real thing. It's just the opening band. But pretty soon, the big curtain's going to go up. The lights are going to come on. And the real band is going to come out. You know what I'm trying to say here? I'm trying to speak plain. So you get what I'm saying? The real deal is about to take place. What thou doest quickly. All right? And I think we'll stop here before verse 15. And we'll deal with all of verse 37 in the future. But I hope you got something. Yeah, this is something I'm working on. It's kind of goofy right now, but it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to be yard art. And it will eventually become something. I'm just working on a bunch of different things out here. Woo, it's getting hot out here. What's the temperature on my Miller thermometer? 95? Huh. Good time for a sermon on hell, eh? All right. Amen.